The NBA is a game where one move can change everything. From trades being banned to LeBron playing with his own son. These 10 moments changed the NBA forever. And first, let's talk about the brand new arena that's already left players shaking. See, in 2021, the Los Angeles Clippers began construction on their new home stadium for it to be a free throw missing cheat code.
And on the enemy side of Intuit Dome lives the beating heart.
The Wall.
Yeah, the Wall has 50 rows of fans dedicated to bricks. And since the beginning of basketball, fans have tried every way to force missed clutch shots at the line. But the Clippers Wall is the real deal. Because in the first game ever in the new stadium, Kevin Durant's free throws were always easy money until he faced something never before seen.
Well, he definitely woke up in that third quarter. Meanwhile, the Suns shooting into that wall of Clipper fans are 4 for 8 at the line.
Anything you were going to see in an NBA arena of what that end looks like, and clearly.
Now, KD is one of the most clutch players in NBA history, but the Wall had him stuck. I don't know how this isn't cheating, but the Clippers might win a championship off their fans alone. But Steph Curry won all his championships thanks to one game. See, Steph Curry went from a walking injury report to starting the three-point revolution, because one night in Madison Square Garden had Steph putting all the haters to bed. But first, let's go back in time, when Steph Curry had ankles like a flamingo. See, in 2010, Steph didn't let a few ankle tweaks stop him from making the All-NBA rookie first team. But by 2011, the ankle sprains piled on, and bro went in for his first ankle surgery at only 23 years old. Now, for most hoopers, ankle sprains are just another day on the court. But in the 2012 season, Steph suffered the worst.
For Honda postgame live, Bronny and Coletta, Saint and Greg.
Stephen Curry's hurt.
Yep.
He's coming out of the game. Oh man, is that an ankle? Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that right ankle. Oh, me. I've seen that before, but it's been years.
Because the same ankle twisted so much, bro only played 26 games. And Curry had to go in for his second surgery in less than a year. Now, he was looking like a bust. And the Warriors had to take the risk of making a player with glass ankles the cornerstone of the franchise.
At one point, people were saying Steph was going to be out the league. Like, he had bad ankles. They was talking shit about this man. When he was winning all this shit, he was MVP. That man was on a $40 million contract, bro.
It's crazy.
They was done with him.
But they rolled the dice and gave Steph the bag. But it came with some extra weight called pressure. And Steph was hearing it from all the haters. So dude threw on some ugly-ass ankle braces and balled out. And if he wanted to be a superstar, Curry had to turn into a monster on the big stage. And what other place to do it than the mecca of basketball, New York's Madison Square Garden. So my man Steph went out there and started cooking so much, he became the chef.
Curry with the floater, got it to go. Curry with the quick trigger, got the three. Another season. Curry with the quick three. Right. Curry for the lead. Got it. Took it out of Curry's hands. Good ball fake.
My man went for 11 three-pointers and set a new career high, 54 points.
Stop letting dude do this, but he really be doing this stuff. I seen it coming. I'm like, the confidence is changing, G. You feel me? I'm like, he doing the shit that we was like, you can't do that in the league. No, bro. Now he talking to the crowd. He pointing at fans. I'm like, Steph don't even do that.
Dude went from a walking ankle sprain to dancing on all the haters. And from the game at the Garden to the rest of Steph's career, he has been a straight menace.
After that game, bro, he got very disrespectful.
Yeah, he took off.
He got disrespectful. He started trying shit.
Chef Curry turned MSG into his backyard, became the MVP, and a 4-time NBA champion. But there's never been quite a chain of events like this next one. See, Anthony Carter is someone you've never heard before, but it's about what he didn't do that set a chain of events that altered the league forever. Because in 2003, Anthony Carter was balling for the Heat, and dude still had a player option to play one more year in Miami. All he needed to do was send in a fax with his email on it for another $4 million. But when Miami sent the paperwork to his agent, he couldn't do one job because Carter's agent didn't send his contract in time and lost out on millions. Now, the Heat had an extra $4 million laying around, so they signed Lamar Odom, and he became one of the most versatile players in the league. No big deal, right? Wrong. All because of one missed fact, a chain of events took place that shook the league for years to come. See, after a little beef with Kobe in LA, Miami traded Odom for Shaq. Now, Shaq and Dwayne Wade became one of the best duos in the league and won the 2006 NBA championship. And after Shaq was washed up, they traded the big guy for Shawn Marion and right after Jermaine O'Neal. But by the time he was gone, they had all the money in the world to pair someone with Dwayne Wade. And there was one player who had just entered free agency, LeBron James. So all because one guy forgot to send in some papers, Wade, Bosh, and the King became one of the greatest teams ever assembled in NBA history. And they're lucky they never had any injuries that would have changed everything. Because one injury, when the stakes were at their highest, shifted the matrix. See, in 2018, the 73-9 Warriors team added Kevin Durant, which made them unstoppable. Now, Golden State looked like the Avengers. But there was one team who looked like they were even better. See, even though the Rockets didn't have 4 All-Stars, Chris Paul paired with Harden led them to the #1 record in the West. I mean, Harden was dropping 50-point triple-doubles and CP3 was breaking ankles every night. The Rockets were changing the game. So while the Warriors revolutionized the three-point shot, the Rockets took it to the next level. Because while Golden State relied on passing, Houston played one-on-one like it was street ball. And with both teams at the top of the league, everyone debated which style of play was better. But we would all find out when the Rockets and the Warriors met in the Western Conference Finals. Now at first, nobody was buying the Rockets' three-point gimmicks, and a win against the greatest team ever assembled seemed impossible. But Houston gave the Warriors problems, and the next thing you know, the Rockets had a chance to go up 3-2 and claim the series. All they needed was to make sure their star players didn't get hurt. So in Game 5, they took control, because Chris Paul was balling with 20 points as the captain of the team. But when Chris Paul had the ball in the final minute of the game, his dream was torn apart.
On the spin, rebound, lead, 57.
But he is hurt right now, limping, walking gingerly and slowly.
Now, the Rockets still came out with the win, but Chris Paul strained his hamstring. It was out for the rest of the series. Dude was devastated, and without their leader, they had no chance to beat KD and the Warriors.
Here's where I'm concerned about when we talk about the impact of Chris Paul's injury moving forward. First of all, the Houston Rockets are not beating the Golden State Warriors without Chris Paul. If I'm Mike D'Antoni, I do not play Chris Paul at all in Game 6. He's not seeing the flow. I don't give a damn how he feels. I don't give a damn what he says. I'm not putting him out there for Game 6. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even let him travel. The only way I would let Chris Paul travel with the team is if the strength and conditioning department and the doctors are all with the team at the Oracle, so you have a better chance of receiving the treatment you so richly need and deserve, okay? That's the only condition under which I even allow him to travel to Northern California. Other than that, stand back in Houston. I don't give a damn what he says.
All CP3 could do was watch his team lose Game 6. But Game 7 was like a funeral, because the Rockets missed 27 straight threes and watched the Warriors cruise to a championship trophy. So if Chris Paul never went crashing down, KD would have had to wait till 2019 to get his first title. But imagine one jersey swap changing the legacy, because we got to talk about the one time a player pissed off Michael Jordan at the worst time possible. See, Michael Jordan was the greatest player that NBA had ever seen. Dude had the hottest shoes in the league, was jumping over everyone, and led the Bulls to 3 straight titles. Now, Mike was the biggest athlete on the planet in the prime of his life, but his fantasy turned into his worst nightmare, because Michael Jordan's closest person in his life, James Jordan, was murdered. And with an aching heart, Mike stepped away for good. But while Mike dominated the NBA, his dad always wanted him to play another sport, baseball. So to honor his father, Mike switched sports and changed his number to 45. And a year away from basketball was all the mental break he needed, because Jordan returned to his red jersey, but with a new number this time, 45. Now, this had dude looking funny, but nobody would dare say it to his face. But when the Bulls met the Magic in the 95 Eastern Conference Finals, there was one player who let him know about it, because in the final moments of the game, Nick Anderson made Mike look like he should have stayed on the baseball field.
10 seconds to play. And Jordan spinning his way against Anderson.
Now, he could have just kept his mouth shut and took his W home, but Nick got too cocky and said the unthinkable.
And I just simply just asking the question that 45 is nowhere near 23. And I wasn't saying it in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying, well, 23, you can't compare 45 to 23.
23 will always be the man.
And you already know Mike took it personal. So the next game, Mike came back like his old self. Because MJ put back on the iconic number and even took a $25K fine for it, but he made it worth it because he torched the Magic for 38 points. And even though the Bulls lost the series, Jordan's change back to 23 set the spark for another 3 titles and cemented himself as the GOAT. All Anderson had to do was keep his mouth shut, and number 23 would have never been feared again. But Draymond learned that he should have never touched someone's package the hard way, because when the Warriors were going for a repeat title, one hit to the nuts changed history forever. See, Golden State was so dominant in 2016, they had a 73-9 record, the greatest in NBA history. All they had to do to be the greatest team ever was beat LeBron and the Cavs in the NBA Finals. And at first, the Warriors lived up to the hype, because Draymond had them ready to take a 3-1 lead and end the series for good. And they made it there because Draymond didn't take any disrespect. But my man already had 6 technical fouls through the playoff, and 1 more would get him suspended. So LeBron had the perfect plan to get Draymond to let his team down. See, when Draymond fell in front of the king, Bron stepped over him like a peasant. And with everything on the line, Draymond reached for the wrong set of balls.
He takes a little swing that misses after he objected to James stepping over him.
Now, the Warriors still won Game 5, but the man who made the Warriors go hard risked it all to sit out Game 6.
LeBron figured out a way to get in Dre's head, and that's what happened. The heart and soul of the team, if you take out the heart, how does the body live?
Without Green, the Warriors exposed their weakness, and the Cavs smelled blood.
It was like, no bullshit, it was like coming up to the park and beating up on some kids, and they big brother just ain't there right now. That's what it felt like. It felt like we just came up to the park and bust y'all ass, and y'all big homie wasn't here. And we beat y'all ass. Like, we just beat y'all ass. Y'all ain't do shit about it. Now y'all calling dude, and he got to come back up to the park for this next game.
But even once Draymond came back for Game 6, it was never the same, because they lost again. See, Steph got cooked by Kyrie, LeBron made the block of a lifetime, and the Cavs pulled off the first 3-1 comeback in NBA history. And it was all because Draymond couldn't keep his hands off LeBron's junk.
One of the most brutal things I ever had to go through in my life. If I played, we win, of course. So I do feel it's my fault that we lost.
You feel it's your fault?
Absolutely my fault. But I don't feel wrong for what I did at all.
See, if this never happened, LeBron would have been stuck at 2 titles, and maybe Kevin Durant never goes to the Warriors. And that would have changed everything. But the NBA game of ifs doesn't get crazier than with Chris Paul. Because picture being traded to the team of your dreams, and hours later, getting your ass shipped right back. See, in 2011, Chris Paul was looking for a new squad. So you already know every franchise wanted the best floor general in the league. But the NBA was in a lockout, which means players and owners had to agree on how to structure their contract. Now, this lockout went on for months after the NBA season was supposed to start. And to add to this mess, Chris Paul's team, the New Orleans Hornets, didn't even have an owner. And one team who really wanted Chris Paul was the Los Angeles Lakers, because Chris Paul on the same court with Kobe would set the league on fire. So when the Lakers had the chance, they pulled the trigger.
At practice today, we saw Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol. Neither of them spoke to the media. Pau just waved and he went into his car. Yesterday, when we did speak to Pau at practice, asked him about the trade rumors, he said obviously with the way that they went out in the playoff last season, he wouldn't be surprised by any trades the team would make. He said you just hear it and you move on. But Pau, I think, is going to be surprised when this deal does go down, because it didn't sound like he thought he would be one of the pieces moved. So the mood at practice facility today, nobody really wanted to talk about anything regarding trade rumors.
Los Angeles was hype, and Kobe and Chris Paul plotted on how they would bring a championship to LA.
But me and Kobe had actually got on the phone and talked about, this and that. Me and my brother was about to get on a flight to fly to LA. There are times where I'll be like, man, this would have been, but I can't get caught up in that. It all worked out.
But just hours later, there was one owner who wasn't having it. See, when Mark Cuban found out this trade would give the Lakers 3 more superstars to add on a max contract, he shut the whole thing down.
You start both of them at $12 million, right? You can max 2 players out. So let's imagine who came up in 2011 around the same time, right? So they could have went after, just in theory, they could have went after, let me get LeBron James and Chris Bosh.
So they vetoed it for
They vetoed it because what happened is they had so much money left over that the Lakers would have created the USA team.
Yeah.
Because I can go out and get LeBron James and Chris Bosh, come on. Right, I got you too.
Yeah, the league commissioner, David Stern, was the acting owner for the Hornets, and he became the first and only person to veto a trade in NBA history. And any chance of that trade being resurrected was lost, because Chris Paul was traded to the other LA team, the Clippers. Now, this would have changed everything, because Kobe Bryant would have finished with way more rings, and Lob City with Blake Griffin would have never been a thought, all because one owner got a little jealous. But Magic Johnson took the game to the max. See, Magic Johnson made an announcement that ended an era, because in the early 90s, Magic was the face of the NBA and a living legend. I mean, dude started an entire generation of players making crazy no-look passes. Not only that, he won 5 NBA titles and was still in the hunt for more. But Magic was not only the most famous athlete in America, he was one of the most recognizable people in the world. And with all that attention, Magic built an addiction that he was hiding from the world.
Like I said, women have different fantasies. Some want to be with 2, 3 at a time. You know, one time I had 6 at one time. That's just
6 women.
6 women.
Now, was that their fantasy or your fantasy?
That was both. Probably mostly mine.
Yeah, when it came to girls, dude was a straight demon. And during the 80s, the sexually transmitted disease, HIV, was taking over. But Magic had no worries, because it was known that the disease only affected same-sex couples. But one day before the start of the 1992 season, Magic had a routine checkup at the doctor when they noticed something wasn't right. Because Magic found out news that ended his basketball career for good. And he had to tell the world about it in the craziest retirement speech of all time.
We are still waiting, and obviously the anticipation is getting worse and worse. We would like to get an answer sooner or later. Quickly tell us what is going on here. It is a very tense place.
First of all, let me say good after late afternoon. Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
The dazzling career of one of the world's best-known athletes is over.
Now, this sent shockwaves through the world, because even Magic's rival Larry Bird didn't even want to play anymore. But worse than that, Magic wanted to hide his face from the world. See, people stayed as far away as possible from him because they thought he was dirty. But even though he left in his prime, Magic had a bigger mission, because he ended the stigma in HIV and became the model for safety. Now, nobody saw that coming, just like the trade that set the Celtics' future, because the Boston Celtics made a trade that killed the careers of NBA legends for something nobody ever saw coming. Let's look back at 2008, when the NBA's first super team that had Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. See, in their first year together, they won it all. But the years after was nothing but disappointment, because LeBron joined the Heat and ruled the East. And Boston was the only real competition for Miami, so they had one shot to prove their old asses could still compete. And in 2013, another playoff loss would be the last game ever together. See, Boston had a decision to make: keep trusting 3 Hall of Famers to choke in the playoffs, or build for the future. And this wasn't easy, because Paul Pierce played there for 15 years and became a Boston legend. But the Celtics general manager saw into the future and let his old-timers go, because Boston set up a 3-team trade between the Nets and the Sixers that sent Pierce and Garnett to Brooklyn in exchange for 2 first-round draft picks that would be the future. I mean, how could you disrespect 2 NBA guys, all for some players that never proved anything? But by the time the 2016 draft rolled around, the Celtics had the 3rd pick and took some nerd with a flat top out of Cal Berkeley.
The Boston Celtics select Jaylen Brown from the University of California, Berkeley.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. And in 2017, a killer from Duke was ready to take the stage.
The Boston Celtics select Jason Tatum from Duke University.
Now, Boston went from 2 dudes in rocking chairs to some puppies ready to take over the league. And boy, did they. Because they became one of the best duos in the NBA. Because in 2024, they went to the finals and led the Celtics to their 18th title, the most in NBA history. But if there's one who knows about championships, it's LeBron James. And any loss or win could have changed history forever with this guy. But what if I told you his greatest accomplishment out of his GOAT-level career wasn't winning any title or even holding the all-time scoring record? It was creating his own teammate. But first, let me give you a little history lesson about Bron. See, this man was born to Gloria James when he was only 16 years old, and the guy never knew who his father was. So he had to learn from coaches and the guys around the neighborhood how to be a man. But even through the circumstances, dude still got to the league. And all along in high school, he met his wife Savannah. So while Bron was the #1 pick and the next Michael Jordan, she was right beside him. And they never knew, but when Bron was in his rookie season, they gave birth to a kid that changed everything. LeBron James Jr. was born August 22nd, 2004, with one thing on his mind: buckets.
Show him your skills. Ooh, that boy cold. That boy cold, he gonna be dunking next week.
And it did not stop there, because LeBron Jr. wanted to be more than just LeBron's son.
I asked him, I said, what you want to do with this? Like you want to get to the pros? What you want to do? He's like, yeah. I said, why? He said, because I want to make a name for myself. I said, well, let's get it.
Now it was on, because LeBron made it his mission to play with Bronny, but this seemed impossible. The only examples of a father playing with his son was Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr., but that was in baseball, where players can play until they're 45. So for this to happen, Bron had to play till he was 39, and Bronny will be one of the best hoopers in high school because he became a McDonald's All-American and committed to USC. Now all dude had to do was keep hooping in college and make it to the league, but the hoop dream came crashing down hard.
Bronny James, the eldest son of Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest Monday and is in stable condition. Quote, yesterday, while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in ICU.
Yeah, Bronny almost died. Basketball was an afterthought, and a lot of people thought it was over. But he made a recovery that was nothing short of miraculous. So Bronny went out there and played hard for a season, but the dude was just looking like an average freshman. Now, he went from a guaranteed NBA talent to someone who might not even get drafted. But the Lakers had the 55th pick and a chance to do what has never been done before. And Bron wasn't going to let his son play without him, so the Lakers went for it all.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James.
And even though LeBron won 4 titles and became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, there was one thing that would make him proud.
It's probably, when it comes to basketball, it's the greatest accomplishment that I've ever had. Done it all as an individual, but there's no greater accomplishment that would be able to overtake me being on the same floor as my son. So it's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Now, Bronny did his part and made the team. So in the Lakers' first game of the year, the whole world wanted to see something never done before.
All ready? All right. You see the intensity, right? Just play carefree, though. Don't worry about mistakes, just go out and play hard.
The James family had the Griffeys in the stands and the rest of the world watching. And Coach Reddick sent them in at the same time and changed history.
The first father-son duo to play together in an NBA game.
Damn, LeBron's greatest legacy is now much greater than his own. It's his lineage. Now that's changing history in the greatest way possible. But do you know what the crazy part of all this is? You can be just as great as him. All you need to do is press the video on your screen. So press it.